is it just me, or have middle school relationships just gone way too far, right? Like, people are taking these middle school relationships way too seriously. Like, some people, the people that are in my school are just insane. They're like wild. Like, they go on rampages with these relationships. Like, God, it's not that deep. Hello, my name is D Lund, and I'm just a commentator. Today, I just want to talk about some relationships, and yeah. So middle school relationships, we all had a middle school relationship, or we've seen middle school relationships, right? They're basically just like, there's like relationships like last like what, 2 weeks? That's how long they last, right? And like, um, they're just short-lived. Like kids don't know what they're doing, right? They're not developed. They're just developed in a sense that they're going through puberty and are experimenting, but they're not sure what to do yet. Not sure what to do in a relationship. They're just experimenting at that point. And um and there's a lot of kids that are experimenting in my school. And it's kinda getting a bit out of hand, alright? Let me just educate you about my school, right? So um my school is in like Ontario, right? And it's just a normal North American school. Just normal classrooms, some bad teachers, some good teachers, and most of the kids are normal, right? And there's gonna be popular kids and there's gonna be nerds, but we're talking about the popular kids today, alright? So the popular kids, right? Specifically the popular girls. There's a whole clan of popular girls in school. There's like what, 20 popular girls, and they're all in French immersion classes, right? There's also some popular girls in the English classes, but most of them are in French immersion. I don't know why. Maybe it's because French immersion kids are richer, and therefore they have more money to like buy stuff, buy better clothes, which will inherently make them look better. I don't know, but they're just in French immersion mostly. And then basically, there's been like what, 5 relationships at my school now, and they're just all French immersion, and they're just all like 2 weeks long, and like it's always the same 3 people, or it's like the same 3 girls that are like at least crushing over each other. Like, they're just always crushing over each other. Sometimes they don't even get into relationships. All right, so I was talking to this one girl the other night, and I like, she was talking about relationships in Centennial, and let me just get started with what she said first. So basically, we were talking last night in Snapchat, and she was talking about this one guy in our class, and we call this guy Fluff Boy. All right, now Fluff Boy very is a very weird friend. All right. I've known him since like what, grade 1, and yeah, he's very interesting in a sense. All right, he's very. Oh, come on, can I get the mic? He's really weird. He says some pretty outrageous stuff, right? And then my friend was talking. The person I was talking to, Snapchat, she was telling me this guy was like talking to her Snapchat. All right, so because he added her on Snapchat, right? And then they started talking mid conversation. And mid conversation, this guy just calls her. And first of all, like, why would you just call her mid conversation? Like, you could have at least just asked, like, just outright calling them mid conversation. First of all, that's kind of annoying. Because imagine just getting ringed as some random dude you're just talking to about English class, and then you just get ringed, and then like, I just feel like middle schoolers nowadays, they don't know how to like talk to girls properly. Like, they don't know how to talk to people properly besides just like talking to them on the internet, because I feel like on the internet you can conceal yourself a lot more. Like, you don't have to be this perfect person. You can say like more outrageous stuff, because most of the time you will get away with saying stuff. I mean, you've been onto Instagram, right? The stuff they say on Instagram is wild. All right, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, all right. Anyways, She was also telling me about how this guy always calls people thick and like hot, and like that's just weird, alright? That's just weird to begin with. Even it doesn't matter, like even in middle school. In middle school, that is insane. That is like that's phenomenal to like have that kind of thought process in middle school. I mean, like imagine just you're grade 8. You expect a grade 8 to be like talking about Legos, right? No, you're talking about like big booty Latinas. That's what they're talking about these days. Imagine being an unk. Imagine being a grandpa and just talking to your grandson. It's like, hey son, what you up to? And then your grandson just says, oh, I'm just scrolling on Instagram, looking at these big booty Latinas, man. I mean, they're so hot. I mean, like I just can't get over them. I can't get over them. I mean, they're just so hot. They're just so flipping dang hot. Yeah, it's just disappointing. It's kind of funny at the same time because like imagine just like hearing a grade 8 talking about some, oh, she's got a fat ass. Like a gang. Who says that? No one says that. No one will ever say that. Even if you're just with guys, even with your best friend, you will not say it with your best friend because you know for sure you're gonna get leaked. You're gonna get leaked if you do that. Right? Anyways. Yeah, this just I think it just shows like middle school kids nowadays, like they don't know how to talk to people and they don't know how to treat people. I don't think they just have I don't just think they don't have manners in general because like they feel like they can say whatever they want because on the internet they can say whatever they want and can't get caught. And like schools try to enforce like cyberbullying for some like try to enforce rules that like nothing ever everything stays forever on the internet. But the truth is, who is realistically finding their Discord messages, right? No one is going to see your Discord DMs, right? No one is going to care. Your parents are gonna see, like the only people that are realistically gonna see those DMs, and they probably won't care, right? The most of the time they won't care. If they do care, then they're not gonna tell the school, right? They're just gonna be like, son, that's a bit weird, right? I'm gonna let you do your own thing, alright? And this is also kind of the parents' fault, right? I mean, like, parents, they just hand their kid an iPad or a computer, and they just let them use it and explore on it. And there's no actual, like, regulation. Like, it's a good thing to, like, let people explore the internet, but that should be once they're at an age when they, like, understand what they're watching. Like, if you're giving an iPad to a 3-year-old, then of course they're gonna go experiment. In a sense, that's good, but at the same time, they don't know what they're watching. So you could be in fact showing them like you'd be showing them explicit content, and they won't know what it is, and you just think it's normal, right? Versus like if you're showing, if you're just giving your computer to like what a 13-year-old, and they know what they're watching, right? They're aware of what they do. So, and so long as they're exploring, they know what they want to explore, and they have that wide range of like they curiosity with that awareness versus a huge range of curiosity without awareness, right? So yeah. Anyways, so she was talking about like relationships, right? We were just talking about relationships and now like relationships are like kind of poop, especially in middle school. Her relationships kind of suck, and I don't know if this is like normalized, if this is normal or not. But she said she's had 4 relationships in like the span of 2 years. All right, she said in the span of 2 years is like pretty long time. That's like a 2 relationships a year on average, which me personally I think is kind of hot because I like googled it and it said most middle school relationships last most to a year, and in my school they most like last up to 2 weeks though, so maybe in a sense according to our school, in a sense that is a pretty long relationship, but still and like most of these relationships is like the thing I found crazy was two of these relationships, they were with people that are like older than her, right? She was in grade 7, and in two of these relationships, all right, she was in grade 7, right? Grade 7, one of them was like during grade 7, one of them was in summer. She was going to go into grade 8 next year, or but she was just finished grade 7, right? Those were with people that were older than her, right? And that's just wild, alright? You're in grade 7, like, that's wild on one thing to be dating someone older, but imagine you're the person that's dating the younger ones, right? You're dating a youngin'. I could never fathom that. Even, okay, if you're older, and most people's bodies are basically the same, like physique doesn't matter at that point, then I can understand that because you guys are basically the same. Age is just a number at that point, alright? You guys are both developed, both mentally and physically, so it doesn't matter. But in like adolescence, the age is a big number, alright? Each age in like adolescence is like a new grade. It's literally a new grade. It's a new era every single time, alright? Because like you've heard of like as you get older, time gets longer, like time gets shorter because the way you perceive time gets shorter as you perceive more values of those time. That's basically what's happening, right? That's basically just a 13 and 14 age gap is a huge age gap. It is really because like let's think realistic. Let's think, all right? In grade 8, you start learning like quadratics equations, all right? In grade 7, you're just learning like how to add positives and negatives. That's a pretty big difference, all right? You're gonna learn quite a lot of stuff between 13 and 14. So that's me personally though. So I think that's just a pretty big age gap, right? If that's like if it's like 24 and 25, I can understand that. But 13 and 14, no way, Jose. And even in the summer, right? The relationship in the summer, like, you're dating someone that's going to a whole new school. They're going to be in a high school next year. You're still in middle school, right? You're quite literally new gen, right? You're quite literally new gen. You're dating young. Imagine that's in a sense that's like almost considered pedophilia behavior, and people like try and defend themselves and like say like, oh, it's just 1 year younger than me, and like, oh, my dad's like a year older than my mom, and that's because your dad is 40 and your mom is 39. That makes sense because age is not that big. Age is not that relevant at that point in your life. That's like middle aged, right? Versus when your 8-year-old dates a 9-year-old, that's pretty big, right? Or like a 1-year-old dates a 2-year-old, that's twice their age, right? Let's just think, right? Anyways, the other two relationships, so this is just actually some complicated lore, and I feel like these like girls take the lore way too seriously. They creating some insane lore, right? And then like I feel like people in middle school they just take relationships way too seriously and they take them way too deep because middle school should be about experimenting. Like, you're not like you're going through psychological changes, all right? You're not grown, like you're not like an adult, but you're also not a kid anymore. You're like somewhere in between, right? And it's just like they take it way too seriously. That's something you should be doing in like your 20s or 30s, right? Not when you're in 13. Not when you're in the 7th grade, alright? You should not be taking relationships this seriously. And like I feel like it's because like they're not dating to marry, alright? They just want someone to call a boyfriend or they want someone to call a girlfriend because that's what they saw in the movies, alright? You know those movies, you know those books, you know, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We've all read Diary of a Wimpy Kid before, right? And it's like Greg Heffley's trying to raise up all the females, but Loki he fails, and like he's just because he's taking things too seriously. Like, if you just let yourself be yourself, you're gonna pull females. But at the sorry here, but like at the same time, like dog, it is middle school. It is not that deep, and like I feel like if you're dating someone, just to call them a boyfriend, that's just kind of dumb. Versus if you're dating someone because you genuinely like them, because and I feel like um most people don't date to marry, all right? They're not dating. If you're gonna like someone, you should be able to see yourself with them in the future, or like partners. You, you guys are married. You guys are wife and husband, all right? That's why you should be able to see in the future. You shouldn't be able to see like just a breakup in 2 weeks. You should be able to see some genuine feelings and genuine love instead of just like a temporary dopamine surge. And like it's just kind of that's just my stance from here, right? Because I feel like most people they just bloat their lives with relationships and like, oh, my love life sucks and whatever, blah blah blah. And then when their boyfriend inevitably breaks up with them because they've lost the passion, they lost their love for the person in 2 weeks. I don't think it's necessarily like lose their love for someone, but rather they found someone that they think is cuter or hotter. That's quite literally the premise. Instead of not liking the person anymore, they like someone else more. So I think that's just the whole plot because a lot of people are just desperate. A lot of middle schoolers are just desperate to have a boyfriend or desperate to have a girlfriend, and they're literally they're asking anyone now. And I think these are just teachings in general because love should be about you wanting to commit to a relationship with someone and not you just wanting someone that you want to call someone your love or your destiny. Love should be something that genuinely like engages your emotions, not just some random lovey-dovey hoopla that goes on in your brain for 2 seconds, right? I think that's what the premise should be, alright? And I think middle school relationships, they can help. They teach you, like, in a sense, like, oh, who do you like and who do you not like. But you should not take middle school relationships that seriously. You should take middle school relationships with a grain of salt, alright? And that's just my opinion. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here. I am recording this video at like 1. And yeah, it is Christmas break for me right now. So yeah, Merry Christmas. Have a nice Christmas break and have many blessings. God bless you.